Hi, I'm Christian Seaman, founder and CEO of Peregrinus Solutions LLC, a U.S.-based unmanned vehicles manufacturer and service provider for industrial and government customers. I founded this company with the goal of using autonomous technology to make the world a better place, while providing a quality working environment for our employees and treating them as the valuable resources they are and helping to elevate them. I'm going to transition to some more pleasing scenery that incorporates the use of drones and autonomous technology rather than forcing you to stare at my face while I go through some important points regarding the FAA's upcoming remote ID legislation that they've proposed. It's upcoming and potentially going into effect, and it's really important that we comment on this, protest at their headquarters on February 29th, 2020. The protest is going to be in Washington, D.C., right outside FAA headquarters. I'm going to include some links in the description that provide really good information from other YouTube commenters such as Joshua Bardwell, xJet, Rotor, Riot, Drib, Mr. Steele, FPV Quickies, Drone Camps USA. I'm sure that there are other ones that I'm forgetting right now, and plenty of other ones out there that I don't know about. One is this video that was produced by a high school student that is just great. It's very inspirational and incorporates the drones and autonomous R2C type technology into the video itself. It's really inspiring because it reminds me personally of me and when I was younger, my friends and my brothers, and just how RC models, RC like planes, rocketry, and drones really have inspired us and a lot of people, including Neil Armstrong, into educational paths and careers that really benefited ourselves and society as a whole, and will continue to do so in the future. So it's important that we preserve that right for today's youth and future youth. That being said, with the magic of technology, I'm going to transition to some pleasing scenery. Humanity is already in the midst of a technological revolution that is going to transform our world like never before. In order to develop and build unmanned vehicles and their accessories in the United States, we utilize a wide variety of high-tech software and equipment such as computer-aided design and object recognition software, 3D printers, and various CNC machines. We teach our employees how to use these tools in addition to soldering, wiring, electronics, precision machining, various elements of multiple engineering disciplines, machine learning and vision algorithms for object detection and recognition, solar and wind power generation, LED technology, thermography, and LIDAR, not to mention web design, marketing, financial analysis, and leadership skills that I and other members of our team have developed and acquired over the course of our careers. The passion for acquiring this knowledge and these skills evolves through participation in model aircraft and drone development. This summer, we'll host our first annual Young Falcons Teaching Youth to Soar drone and STEM camp. This event will be open to all youth members of our community, but is geared especially towards exposing underprivileged youth to the wonders of science and technology education in a fun outdoor setting at our 136-acre test facility and headquarters located just outside Syracuse, New York. There are many other drone-based educational programs across the United States with similar goals. Unfortunately, the new regulations which have been proposed by the FAA under the guise of improved public safety threaten to eliminate these programs along with the drone and model aircraft hobby, put small businesses that have developed around the hobby community and provide UAVs and drone-based services out of business, and shut down drone-focused nonprofit and educational programs. These all serve as methods to attract youth to science and technology-oriented educational pursuits and careers, which not only improve their quality of life, the lives of their families and local community members, but also help advance the progress of the United States along with the entire world. I was inspired to make this video after reading and watching much of the phenomenal content that's been produced by the online educational communities for the recreational and commercial UAV and model aircraft flight as a result of this proposed legislation, and after submitting my own comments regarding this proposed legislation to the FAA's website. One video, created by a high school student, was extremely well done and struck me in particular. It reminded me well of me and my brothers and our friends when we were younger. We each developed our passion for flight, education, and science through our childhood adventures with model aircraft. And we all went on to pursue degrees and careers in STEM fields. These proposed regulations serve only to monopolize the skies for large corporations and eliminate fair business competition, along with individual rights to the airspace between 0 and 400 feet of altitude. The FAA's proposed regulations go against decades of proven and demonstrated safe use of drones and RC model aircraft. I suggest that the FAA base its remote ID laws after what the European Union recently put into effect. The EU regulations make much more sense and help benefit everyone rather than strictly big business megacorporations. It is true that the evolving nature of technology has made recreational model and drone flight much more easily accessible than it has been in the past. For increased safety, the FAA could expand its Part 107 certification program for commercial UAV operators to include a less advanced course and test for recreational use. The FAA can choose to host the basic course and test online for free to encourage maximum participation in the program. FAA.gov is a tremendous resource for the aviation community. It already provides incredible amounts of the latest training and regulatory information for free. Specifically, www.faa/UAS currently provides a great deal of information for safe UAS recreational and commercial operations. This existing resource should have the necessary training information and/or certification programs added to it, rather than effectively and simply banning all recreational flight instead. When Neil Armstrong stepped off the lunar module and onto the surface of the moon, he commented, "One small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind," to symbolize the paradigm shift in knowledge and technology that had occurred in order for a safe journey to the surface of the moon and back to occur. The autonomous technology revolution will change our lives forever. The cat is already out of the bag, and the genie is out of the bottle, so to speak. There's no putting them back. It is imperative that the FAA consider all stakeholders affected by its legislation, including the long-term outcomes and potential unintended consequences, rather than just what currently appears to simply be the short-term interests of huge corporations and their wealthy shareholders. Drones, RC aircraft, and autonomous technology provide a creative and fun experience for kids of all ages. They are the catalyst of inspiration and educational pathways for children to grow up to be the next Neil Armstrong, astronaut, pilot, scientist, engineer, or healthcare worker, etc. This is much to the benefit of the U.S. population and global citizenry alike. The technology and knowledge developed by small businesses and educational institutions in America has a strong track record of being acquired and further developed by large corporations and the U.S. government for further commercialization and wide-scale use. These new regulations place such a high and unnecessary burden on recreational users, small businesses, and nonprofit educational groups and institutions from a cost and privacy standpoint that they will effectively terminate the hobby, be the direct cause of multiple small businesses and medium-sized businesses just going out of business, employees being laid off, and these amazing educational programs shutting down. The new regulations may result in a small uptick in short-term profits for large corporations happen to be approved by the FAA. Those corporations will essentially have a monopoly over and free reign of the skies, giving them permission to legally buzz over public and private property with impunity. The long-term consequences of shutting down this pipeline of talent and innovation will be devastating, beginning in the not-so-distant future. New York State, they've been doing a lot of work and making great strides in encouraging small business development regarding autonomous technology solutions, the Internet of Things, drones, etc. There are multiple competitions throughout the state, including Genius New York in Syracuse, located right here. There's some in Western New York and some in Southern New York. Many other states within the U.S. and other countries around the globe hold similar competitions for innovation and technology development. These new regulations will make competitions within the United States irrelevant or ineffective if the individuals and companies that previously competed in them go out of business or are unable to fly and experiment. We're at a point in time where the U.S. federal government and its agencies should be doing everything in their power to encourage the safe use of drones, RC aircraft, and other forms of autonomous technology to maximize innovation, research, and development. If they don't, we all lose. The FAA has a choice to make. It has the power to help catapult the U.S. to the forefront of the autonomous technology revolution as we take this next giant leap for mankind. They can help facilitate this by enacting common sense regulations similar to the EU and only require remote ID to help make advanced drone UAV operations such as beyond visual line of sight safely possible, while not requiring remote ID for general drone operations. As previously mentioned, the FAA could also expand the existing Part 107 UAS commercial operations certification to include a free basic flight safety course and competency test for UAV pilots with drones between 0.55 pounds and 55 pounds and only used for recreational purposes. Access to this would help encourage mass adoption for the educational and certification programs by all recreational users. It wouldn't eliminate all the potential problems, but outright banning legal drone and RC flight within the U.S. won't either. On the other hand, the FAA can choose to write this proposed legislation into law as is, with little effective changes. This would prove to be a much darker path, as it will directly oppose and ignore the majority. It wouldn't eliminate all the potential problems, but outright banning legal drone and RC flight within the United States won't either. And policies of outright prohibition have a history of failure within the United States. We can think of alcohol and more recently marijuana as current events where prohibition hasn't worked out so well. On the other hand, the FAA can choose to write this proposed legislation into law as is or with little effective changes. This would prove to be a much darker path, as it will directly oppose and ignore the will of the majority of community members who are directly affected by this proposed regulations and that of the informed general public. The first option will help the U.S. make our next giant leap, while the second option will effectively cut the United States' legs off as we attempt to win the race for autonomous technology and artificial intelligence. Please do the right thing, FAA, so we can all be our best selves, so we can all be great. As I'm sure you can all agree, it's been an extremely exciting getting to this point, despite the future being uncertain. I'm very optimistic that the FAA will choose to do the right thing and amend their proposal to encourage safe drone and RC model use for everyone, rather than eliminating the hobby and field completely, with the exception of huge corporations handpicked by the government and corporate lobbyists. The future is already here. now. The potential for life-saving innovation through autonomous technology and artificial intelligence is amazing. I have included helpful information for submitting comments to the FAA, tips for attending a peaceful protest, knowing your rights, links for information about the protest outside FAA headquarters in Washington, D.C. outside on February 29th, 2020, and other helpful YouTube videos from community members regarding this topic. As mentioned, xJet, Joshua Bardwell, Rotor, Riot, Drib, Mr. Steele, FPV Quickies, Drone Camps USA, a high school student that I've mentioned multiple times in this video, among many others, have provided a great deal of really excellent content and information regarding this topic, and I'd advise you all to make use of that. Please share this video, give it a thumbs up, and share it with your friends, family, community, and the media, and share these other ones as well. It's really important to get this information out there because many people might not realize it, but it really affects everyone and everyone's future, and it's important. I salute you for standing up for your rights and the rights of other Americans. It's one of the most courageous and patriotic things you can do. Please give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends and family and the media. Comment on the FAA's website forum and attend the protest if possible. If you aren't sure what to write or competent in your writing skills, please adjust my comment or use someone else's comment. You can adjust it or just use the exact same comment if you agree with it. By standing up together, we can all fight for our rights and win despite what may seem like overwhelming odds.